Quit Your Damn Job with McCall Taylor.
Whenever you follow your passion, you step outside of that fear box, things will shift and grow for you.
Yeah.
But believe in yourself enough to know that you can do it. I am an emotional healing coach.
Okay.
And what I do is I help women to identify their inner being, free their past limitations,
Yes.
and have radical joy in their home and their business.
You know, I absolutely live for this. This is something that makes my entire soul so happy. So how did you find this path?
It honestly found me.
Cool. Isn't that great?
Right? So I had just been experiencing a year worth of depression and anxiety, and I was looking for help for me to overcome that, get happy. Because I was miserable in my life, hated most of my life. And through understanding myself better, letting go of the strong, intense emotions I was holding on to, I realized how big of an impact it made in my life. And I wanted to help other people. And from there, I just started learning and getting involved in energy work. And then what I do now, it just came to me during one of the sessions I was doing. I was like, okay, we're going to step into it in this way.
I love that because sometimes, the things that you think and you expect out of your life are not necessarily the things that are meant for your life. And it's something that has been like a lesson. I mean, especially for me, because I always thought I was going to work at a bank. I always thought I was going to be like a secretary of sorts. And that just wasn't my path. That wasn't the path that I needed to be going. And I didn't know it until I decided, okay, let's take this journey that has been presented to me.
Yeah, absolutely. I was the same way. I was in nursing school and I was like, fast, hard, no.
Yep.
And then I went into social work. And so I thought I would work as a social worker for the rest of forever. And this is kind of similar, but I'm so grateful that I didn't end up in that space. This is my calling.
Yeah. And it's incredible once you do find that calling and you chase it, because the amount of fulfillment that you end up feeling throughout the rest of your days is unreal. You wake up crying because you're just so happy at how good your life is.
Totally. Yes. I've been crying even today. I'm like, this is so good.
Isn't it unreal? It's one of the greatest feelings in the entire world. So growing up, did you do a lot with energy work?
Nothing.
Really?
No. In fact, it was a friend that told me about it. She's now my sister-in-law. When she told me, I was like, what?
Yep.
You want me to
What kind of kooky stuff is this?
Yes. This is so weird.
Yeah.
And no, so I had no idea about any of it. But I've always loved a little bit of the edgy things, right? Like astrology.
Totally.
Super
I love it.
loved that.
Yep.
So that was acceptable. But energy work, what the heck?
Yeah.
So no, I wasn't. But when I found it, it just resonated.
Absolutely.
With all parts of me.
And I think that there's a lot to be said about actually figuring out who you are within yourself.
Yes.
Because I feel like a lot of people go day to day living their life without even asking the question of okay, what emotion am I feeling right now? How do I feel? It's just okay, we got to put in the hours, put in the work, right?
Totally. Autopilot. I see that happen all the time. And I was autopilot too. I've always been a driven person.
Yeah.
And so it was easy to go after goals and do things, but it was autopilot. And then when I would feel intense emotions, bury that down.
Absolutely.
Can't feel that because that doesn't help you reach your goal, or that is just slowing you down and stopping you. So bury, shove, and push forward. And it did nothing for me.
Yeah. And acknowledging those emotions, I feel like, is such an important thing, because they're telling you something. They're telling you something for a reason. But ever since you're little, that's kind of what you do.
Yeah.
You just shove it.
And there's a story behind it, right?
Yeah.
Everything that we feel, everything that we experience is a story. And we cut ourselves off from that because of, how we were raised or other experiences that say, oh no, this is shameful. It's not okay to feel this way.
Yeah.
Do anything but feel that,
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you see a lot of, inner issues based on the suppression of your emotions being manifested through physical pain?
Absolutely. I see that all the time. And even for my own life, I got mono when I was 9 years old, and it came back after my traumatic experience. And I just avoided it, right? Because oh no, mom can't be sick.
No, of course not.
There's other things to do and take care of. And so I just, I suppressed it. And then when I got so exhausted and stressed out and overwhelmed, Mono was like, hello, let me come show you. And I see that with people physically all the time that, whether it's an illness or an ache or a pain in their body, that emotion just, it holds that there. And then as soon as you let it go, they're like, oh, like,
wow.
I can move again.
It's
like,
amazing.
Yeah.
Because I really want to like touch on this some more. I really want to go into this a lot because I feel like there's a lot of value here. Because I feel like a lot of people are so worried about actually exploring their emotions. What's like one of the first steps of people actually exploring their emotions?
Well, what I recommend people do is just start getting comfortable with themselves in the moment when you catch yourself overreacting, because that's usually when we can tell like, oh, like there's a problem here. You know, so when you're overreacting with your kid or at a coworker, or you're just bothered over the same thing over and over and over again, asking yourself, why am I upset about this?
Yeah.
And really that's the basics of it, because your spirit knows the answer and will tell you, and then you can be aware of what's going on, and then you can start the healing journey.
Yeah. And do you see a lot of that going back to, I mean, young ages, or is it usually just like right now?
No, I do. I see all, like the whole scale of things, but usually between the ages of 0 and 9 are when we're developing our subconscious mind. And so because your subconscious brain is always going, it means that you felt intensely, but you couldn't make conscious awareness of what was going on, and that created belief systems in you. And I really think we're all just a bunch of grown-up kids walking around in adult bodies that have wounds and challenges that we're trying to overcome, but we're looking at it from that child perspective because we didn't have the tools and the skills to understand what was going on inside of us.
Yeah. How would you suggest people discover those tools inside of them?
Yeah, I think working with a coach 100% all the time, because sometimes we can get like the surface things, you know?
Absolutely.
Like we know when we're frustrated, we know when we're mad, and we can usually be like, oh, well, it's because of this situation. But beyond that, well, when did you first experience that? That's really hard to go to when you don't have someone guiding you through it.
Yeah.
But if you're not in a place to have a coach, or you're scared or worried, because that was sure me. I was really embarrassed to get help at first.
Of course.
You know, just even walking up to the door and being like, so I have issues.
So please help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a lot.
Yeah.
And so if you're someone who's doing it on your own, getting a journal.
Yes.
And just being real with yourself, because so many people are used to censoring what's going on in their life. Getting a journal where you don't have to censor will help you see and understand yourself so much better.
Absolutely. You know, I think there's such a stigma that comes with trying to get somebody else to help you with your emotions. And I really don't understand why there should be anything shameful with it. I think that it's a huge step towards yourself growing as an individual, because and growing inside of your spirit as well, because these are things that you may not be aware of, you know, and you don't have the knowledge necessary to be able to go through those next doors. However, there are other people that do have these capabilities. And so I think that there is a lot of strength in actually taking that first step and actually going and getting the help that is needed.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you know, for me, the mind chatter was, they won't understand you.
Right.
No one will
Always.
get it.
Nobody
right?
understands.
Yes. And so that really held me back.
Yeah.
But it was because I didn't understand it.
Absolutely.
So if I couldn't understand it, how could I help anyone else understand it? And so, yeah, it had to be this like, okay, Talesha, you're messed up.
Yep.
Go get some help.
Yep.
And as soon as I was at that vulnerability level, all things changed.
Yeah. As soon as you put those walls down and you go forward, you know, you do that. Nobody's going to understand me. You flash right back to that young stage and that youth age that you were talking about. We are children, basically, in adult bodies that have never learned how to cope. I love this. I'm
Thank you.
living for this whole conversation right now. This is awesome.
It's awesome.
And so what kind of success have you found with coaching in like a business setting?
Yeah, it's been incredible, because what you can do as a business setting is, if you have a business, you still got emotions.
Well, yeah.
You got to put yourself out there.
Absolutely.
You got to work through your own fears. And so that's what I get to do for businesses, is I get to come in there and help them see what thoughts are holding them back.
Yeah.
Because we always have that, I like to call it like the ceiling, right? Where it's like, I can get this high, and then there's nothing else from there. And so that's what I like to help coach businesses through is, girlfriend or dude, like, you got this. There's
Yeah.
so much more here. And let's uncover those things that are stopping you. Let's help you grow your perspective. Let's help heal that younger person inside of you who is scared to death to get on a live video
Yep.
or scared to death to go and knock on someone's door or whatever your business may be. And so for me, it's helping them see their own successes and define what those are for them, free of expectation of themselves or what others are expecting them to do in their business.
So have you seen any businesses or business owners or whatever, and obviously we're going to keep this totally confidential, but have you seen anybody that has like a chip on their shoulder or something that has created like a motivation for them? However, it has actually hurt them in the long run. Is that a thing? Or is it usually just like, no, the chip on the shoulder is a good thing?
Yeah. No, the chip on the shoulder is definitely
oh, dang it.
not good at all.
Crap.
Because here's the thing, when you have that and you have a business, you're never going to feel fulfilled or satisfied
Right.
in what you're doing because you're going to always have to prove your worth.
Yeah.
And when you remove that chip on your shoulder, you don't have to prove to anyone. You just feel like what you're doing is making a difference.
Yeah.
And I feel like you're going to business because you want to make a difference.
Well, absolutely.
You know, you want to change people's lives, whether it's a product or a service that you have. And by removing that chip, you get to be your best self.
Yeah.
You get to be the face and the decision maker for your business rather than all the other things that you're giving excuses to.
So how is it that you shifted? What was like your pivotal moment to be like, okay, fine, we'll do this?
Oh my gosh. So I was working for the school district here and at a job I loved.
Absolutely.
I was helping kiddos.
Right.
You know, helping them through their emotions, their behaviors, and helping them have skills.
Yeah.
Like,
That's amazing.
that is fulfilling,
That
right?
is fulfilling.
But it just, like, there was this nagging thing in my mind of, Talesha, this is holding you back. I was like, but no, like, I'm making a consistent paycheck.
Right.
Because, you know, when you're in business for yourself, like, you need to have that consistent flow. And
Yeah.
so for me, I'm like, well, the money is helping me. Like, the money is floating me until I can grow this thing. And in the back of my mind, it was like, Talesha, it's holding you back. Talesha, you can't help the people that need you by doing this. And so it was an act of God and courage.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just was this, there are so many more people that you need to help, and you need to help them while you're at the school. But while I was at the school, I couldn't help people because I had to be at the school.
How do you time that? You know, there's no
Yeah.
way to be able to break down the time. I mean, there is, but also there's not because you're also a mom.
Right, yes. And so my time was divided. I was at school from, 8:30 to 3:30 most days, and then I'd come home. I was a mom.
Yeah.
And then I had to do my client work.
Right.
So that gave me like 3 hours with my kids, maybe 4 hours with my clients, and then I wake up and have to do the same thing
Yeah.
over and over and over again. And then Saturdays and Sundays, I was like, I'm dead.
Yeah.
Like, there was nothing else to do.
Right.
So it just got to a point where there wasn't enough time, and I knew that what I was supposed to do was so much more important in this realm than what I was doing with the school.
Yeah. That's very interesting because I want to go back to your consistency point because a lot of people are worried to take the leap and do the thing because of the consistency, because people are like, well, this is what I've always known.
Yes.
How can I take a leap? How can I jump? How can I just go do it because this is what I feel like I need to do, but I just don't know because I need a consistent paycheck. Yeah. What would you give advice-wise to somebody that's thinking that?
Well, for me, it was when I jumped all in, it was sink or swim.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah. And then it creates motivation basically to succeed.
It does. Yes. Yeah. And really, like, I loved the school, but it was holding me back. And even though it was consistent, I've made so much more now because I'm stepping into the role that I'm supposed to be doing.
Yep.
And so whenever you follow your passion and you step outside of that fear box, things will shift and grow for you.
Yeah.
But, like, believe in yourself enough to know that you can do it.
Right.
Like, the money, it doesn't matter. Like, it really, truly doesn't.
It's, it's the energy that's around the money that is what people focus on the most because... Yeah, that's always been something that's so interesting to me.
Yes, and my belief around it was scarcity, right? Like, I needed this to stay afloat, which is not true. That was just a made-up belief I had in my mind. And so as soon as I stepped out of that and stood in my truth, things really started taking off because I had that foundation.
Yeah. What advice would you give to somebody that is trying to find that motivation to find the belief within themselves of, I can do this?
Really surrounding yourself with other people who are doing it. I had a really strong network of women who were doing it and killing it in their business. And I'm like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah.
If they can do it, I can do it.
Yep.
Right? And sometimes it takes seeing to believe.
Absolutely.
And because I was able to surround myself with women who were doing it, and I could see that they were capable of it, and they were like me. They were a mom, they were a wife, some of them single parents. I'm like, holy cow, I can do this too. So yeah, my advice would be surround yourself with people who you admire, who are doing what you want to be doing, and they'll lift you up and help you find the courage to step into whatever passion, dream it is that you have, because life is too dang short.
Absolutely.
To waste it doing what you don't love.
100%. That is literally the whole motto of this whole thing. Life is too short to not be doing the things that light your entire soul on fire. So what do you do to be able to put up like a shield around yourself when there are people that are in your life that are not supportive of your passion? Because I know there are people that have that struggle, and it's a hard struggle when the people that are closest to you are telling you that you can't.
Yes, that is so hard. And I've experienced that too. Even people that I thought would always show up and believe in me, they didn't. And I think it was out of fear, right? Like they wanted to protect me. I don't think that they were trying to be harmful.
No.
But when you're going out on your own like that or trying to do a passion of yours, you got to have people that 100% support you because it's hard for you to even believe in it. And when you have other people that can help you believe, it helps make things so much easier. So I like to call it your circle of authority.
Okay.
And what it is you decide who is at your centermost authority. So for example, for me, that would be myself. Sometimes my husband is in there. Sometimes he's not, depending on who he is. Because he's still human. He still has fears.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
So it's always going to be me, my highest self, God, and then my husband, and then sometimes it just rotates through between like friends or parents, but really like me and God always 100% in my center circle of authority, and then you have another circle and another, so there's 3 total, and the outermost circle are people who are like no-go. And so you just know that. Like, these are people that I will not listen to. They do not get permission to have any sort of opinion on how I live my life.
I love that.
And so, you just like energetically, you've already kicked them out of your space, right?
Yeah, you got to shut them out.
Yes.
You know, that kind of energy, like you said, it is exhausting to try and succeed in things. They say that a lot of the times the people that are telling you that you can't, it's like an insecurity that's being projected, but it's also, like you said, a form of trying to be supportive. And that's what we've been told since we were little, well, that's a risk. You don't want to do that. Instead of, well, that's a risk. Let's see what we can do to make it accomplish.
Absolutely.
Accomplish it? Whatever the word is. I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I remember being a little girl and I always grew up dancing. And so my goal, like, I want to be a professional dancer. Of course, right? Like, that was what I wanted. But I distinctly remember people telling me, it's so hard. Yeah, you can't do that. Like, only a very few amount of people get that. Do you know how hard it's going to be? And it's like, that's
isn't that devastating?
Crushing.
It's so heartbreaking because you want to be there to support people throughout whatever it is that they may want to accomplish. So how would you suggest other people be better support systems for people who want to accomplish big dreams?
Yeah, tell them to go for it.
Sweet.
Like, seriously, like, just do it. It doesn't matter what you're afraid of for them. If you believe in them, they will believe in themselves, and they are way more likely to be successful because they know they have someone who believes in them. Like, how good does it feel when someone is like, you got this. You are so incredible. I'm so proud of you. You feel so good inside. It validates you.
Absolutely.
And so just by being that person that supports them, even if you're terrified for them, even if you can see all the reasons it can't work, so the heck what? Show them and give them reasons as to why they can do it. Because they have this passion for a reason. I truly believe it's a gift if someone finds a passion of theirs that they love. So support the heck out of them.
What advice would you give to people that are, because a lot of people use like fake it till you make it to do the piece, to go through it. Is that a good form of advice, or is that a form of like, oh, no?
Yeah, that's a hard one because I can totally see the wisdom behind it, because I think in the true energy of it, it's just keep trying your best. Like, even if you're not there, keep going, keep pushing for it. But the fake part is what's hard,
Yep.
right? Because the fake to me is like a mask. It's like being someone who you authentically are not.
Yep.
And I think when you're running a business, it's so valuable, or even just a regular person.
Yeah.
It's so good to just be authentic and be yourself. You attract better people.
You do.
You have a better experience.
Yeah.
And so the fake part is where I'm like, let's do it differently, right? And so I had a coach that taught me to believe, do, have.
I love that.
And so instead of looking at the result that you want and trying to do things differently in your life, be someone different.
Yeah.
So like if you want to start your business and you want to go all in, but you're terrified, or you want to go on a career path that scares the living daylights out of you, look at a person who has that career. Look at who's doing that. What do they believe about themselves? What do they believe about society? What do they believe internally that's gotten them there? And start to become that person. And that's where I feel like the energy really is meant to be in that statement of fake it till you make it. But take on that identity. Become who that person needs to be that is in that role that you want to be in.
Yeah. It becomes create the reality that you want to be living.
Absolutely.
And I love that. You know, one of the big quotes that is my favorite, I've got it up on a wall in my house, I've got it up on one of my widgets on my phone, is if your dream life were to come to you today, are you prepared to receive it? Are you living the life that you're prepared to receive this dream? And that's something that like always resonated with me, because it's like, no, I'm not. I'm going home, I'm sitting on my couch, I'm doing nothing. And I'm not doing the things that I would need to be doing for that dream to be welcome into my life at this point.
Right. Yeah. I meet so many people who are like, I want to make, thousands of dollars a month, or I want to start my business. I want to do this. And I'm like, okay, well, where are you at right now? Like, what are you doing? How are you living your life? And honestly, just like you said, it comes back to that. Like the habits and the beliefs that they have about themselves will never get them there.
No.
And then they're mad and frustrated. Like, I'm praying, I'm doing all these things, and I'm not getting anywhere. I'm like, well, no, duh, you're not getting anywhere.
Right. What steps are you taking to be able to make those things come to you?
Yes.
Because you have to be living that life and doing those things before they come to you, because you have to be not proving, but kind of proving that you are willing to do the work.
Yeah, it's an energy alignment,
Absolutely.
right? If you want something that is a high vibration in your life,
You gotta raise it.
but you're living a low vibration life, that low vibration doesn't want to come down. It wants to be high. And so, you have to raise yourself up to match whatever it is that you want to speak truth of. It's like, you know how the book The Secret or the movie, like people are like, oh, I'm just gonna like put it on my wall, or I'm just gonna think it and say it and it's gonna come right to me. No.
You gotta shift everything.
Action too, right?
Yep.
Like it has to have the belief and the action and then go.
Absolutely. So what would you tell people who want to raise their vibration from where they're at now? What would be like step one?
Step one, your belief systems. So instead of the negative self-chatter in your head of, I can't do this, start telling yourself, I can do this.
Yeah.
I can do anything I want to decide to do.
Absolutely.
Start having better communication inside your mind.
What is a good like ritual for you? What do you do like first thing when you get up in the morning?
Oh my heavens, I have a whole morning.
I love this. Like
and
I love
routine.
this so much.
Yes, I have a whole routine, because the first thing that you do when you wake up and the last thing that you do before you go to bed creates your brain.
Yes.
And what successes you have in your life. So for me, the very, very first thing I do is I wake up and I pray. And it's always what I'm thankful for and what I need help with. And I'm very intentional about it, right? Like it's not like this memorized
Right. It's not like
yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm very intentional with it. And then I read my I am statements. And so there's a difference. You have your I am, which is who you are already. And then you have a declaration, which is who you want to become. So I read my I am. I read my declaration statement of who I want to be. I look at my vision board, and then I'll either get ready for my day or go work out, whatever day I'm on. It switches a little bit, but that's really what I start with. And then after that, podcast, personal development book, or other form of spiritual growth.
Yeah. So have you found a lot of success with doing that first thing in the morning?
Absolutely. Yes. Because I wake up and I'm focused on what I want to create in my life. When I have just gotten up and checked my phone or, emails, Facebook, Instagram, all those notifications, it really does. It drains me. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, my whole life is dedicated to my clients and my business.
Yeah.
which that wears on you.
Absolutely,
And
it
I
does.
can't show up fully and help people in the way that I want to if I'm not taking care of my vessel, my body, who I am.
Yep.
And so, yeah, when I start off that way, so much better. And then I don't get as stressed and overwhelmed because I've taken care of me, so I can better help other people.
Absolutely. And you're grounded to start your day off. I think
Yes.
that's one of the most important things that I've learned is that the first thing in the morning, I mean, obviously your whole meter is full. And so you have the capability to go through and do the things that you want to get done before you even go to work.
Absolutely.
So what's one thing that, say you go to work, say you have something stressful come up, what's something that you would give advice-wise to somebody that wants to just ground themselves?
Yes, breath. Breath work every time. I mean, there's tons of things that you can do. Everyone has like a little element they love. They love the most. For me, it's breath, and that's what I recommend to clients because you can do all these different techniques, right? Like energy work techniques, vibration techniques. But sometimes it's hard to do that if you're around other people.
Right.
Your breath, you got control of
Yeah.
at all points
Yep.
and time during the day. So it's the square breath. So you hold for, however many counts you want to do. 7 to 4 is usually recommended. Breathe in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4. And just do that and think of like who you are becoming. Think of the things that you desire in your life, the people that you want to serve and help. They'll ground you every time.
Yeah. How much time do you spend focusing on goals for the future and your I am statements and your declaration?
Yes, I'm so glad you asked this question because some people I think are like, Talesha, do you just like meditate all day long every day?
Yes, why not?
Yeah. I'm like, I totally wish I could.
Right.
And so we have like this unrealistic expectation that to have change in our life, it has to take like hours and hours and hours, right? Like I just had a client and she was like, well, it just has to take time. I was like, why are you telling yourself that?
Right.
Why limit that?
Absolutely.
Why don't you say, I can let go of this right now?
And move on.
And move on. Let
Yep.
it go. Become the person that you want to be. And so it's the same thing with this time issue. Let it go. Do the work.
Yep.
So honestly, like 15 minutes, morning and night, like 30 minutes a day, if even that.
Yeah. You know, it's incredible how powerful your mind is and how much we limit it based on the things that people have told us throughout our lives.
Absolutely.
It's unreal.
Well, and the more you do it, the quicker it becomes for you. And our brain, it wants to vibrate higher. It wants to like literally lean in to good things. It's like, when you're by a flower, like it's so hard to be like, oh, yeah, flower.
Right.
Like, I don't want to be around you. Like you
Right.
want to go by the flower.
I want to smell it. I want to look at it. I want to touch it. Like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we gravitate to high vibrational things. And so it gets easier the more we practice.
Yeah. What's something that you think has really played into people doing more of their limitations, like don't touch that flower, like that kind of thing?
I think it's a lot of fear and a lot of like uncertainty, right? Like it's not going to be a good outcome, or I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Right.
It's just a lot of this negativity that they've developed over their life where they see their experiences as the negative and they can't have what they want rather than allowing themselves to see the hope and the faith that really is there when they go for it.
How do you rewire that thinking? Because one of my favorite people in the entire world, it's like whenever great things happen, because I'll say things like, oh my gosh, like I just cannot believe how good my life is. Like I'm so grateful. And I know how like ridiculous that sounds, but dang, I am grateful for the way that I live. I am so happy. And the phrase that comes back is, well, don't get too comfortable because as soon as that happens, then something bad happens. How do you rewire that? Because that's not how it has to go.
No, absolutely not. So what I believe is that you can release it from your life, right? And so there's many techniques for that. I walk my clients through a visualization technique for that. But yes, taking out what is no longer serving you and replacing it with what is. And then you continue to repeat and build off of that. So if you're removing the thought of, I can't have this kind of life, or I can't be happy, I can't have love, whatever that negative thing is. So if it's, I can't be happy, then you start practicing every single day. This makes me happy.
Yep.
This makes me happy. loading my dishwasher makes me happy.
It's the greatest thing in the world because, gosh dang it, I don't have to wash my dishes by hand every single day.
Yes.
It's just a matter of finding those little things.
Absolutely. You give your brain the evidence that it needs at every single time of where love is, where happiness is, where hope is. You're just constantly telling your brain a new story.
Yeah.
So some people are like, I don't like talking to myself. I'm like, girl, get comfortable with it.
Do it.
Like, talk to yourself at all points of the day. Tell your brain what to believe. If not, it's going to go on autopilot again and believe your old story that's not serving you.
Yep. Your self misses you.
It does.
Really, your inner self misses hearing from you and misses you talking to it because you did it when you were a kid. Like,
yeah,
you've done it. This is you, but you're just afraid to talk to yourself because you look crazy.
Yep.
Who said you look crazy? The world? Okay, great. Get out.
Yep. Yeah, right? The world is like that very outer circle of your authority. It
Absolutely.
doesn't matter. If it makes you happy, you do it. I know when I first started this journey, so I felt like I was crazy because my negative self-chatter was so negative.
Absolutely.
Right? And so I
Absolutely.
thought I was going crazy because I used to be happy. And then I had my traumatic experience and I was not. So I thought I was going crazy. And then I found energy work and emotional healing work. And I was like, oh, I for sure am crazy now.
Yeah.
And so I was seeking for validation one night from my husband. And I was like, I don't know, like, do you think I should keep doing this? Like, I feel really good inside, but it's kind of weird. And he's like, Talesha, is it making a difference?
Yep.
Yes. Then you keep doing it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter
No.
what anyone else thinks. If it is serving you and helping you, keep doing it.
I love that you bring up the point of validation because everybody is seeking the validation, but really the only person that you have to live with is yourself, and you are the only person that has to be happy. And if you're happy doing what you're doing, keep doing the thing that you're doing.
Absolutely.
So I want to go back to you talking about how at first you were super depressed. How was it that you began to find value within yourself?
Yeah, value has been a really big struggle of mine. And I'm not sure why. I think a lot of us have our own struggles. But
Absolutely.
accepting my value, I think, was hard. I didn't want to be that, like, big shot, big headed kind of person, right? Like, I want to be humble. I want to be meek and gentle and all those good things.
Yep.
And so I felt like if I expressed myself bigger, it would look bad.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's okay.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's just about your value.
Oh, yes, my value. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. So finding my value, it came bit by bit, right?
Yeah.
The more I told myself that I had worth and something to give other people, it helped me to see the value that I am.
Right.
Because I don't believe that we're put on earth to just, like, serve ourselves.
And exist, right.
Yeah, like, I feel like that we all have a mission here to help other people in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And so the more that I started helping people and recognizing that that was because of the gifts that I have and the talents that I have, that helped me to connect in with the value. And that my value doesn't get diminished.
No.
No one gets to tell me I'm less than.
Yep.
And even me, I don't give myself permission to tell me
Good.
that I am less than.
Good.
And I think that's where a lot of us struggle is, like, we may be able to tell other people, yeah, it doesn't matter what you think of me. I don't care. But sometimes the person we need to tell the most is that inner critic.
Yep.
That we have value. And that no matter what we're afraid of or doubting, it doesn't matter. We have immense value. Like, we were born with that value.
Yep.
Like, if you crumbled up a dollar bill,
It's still a dollar.
it's still a dollar.
Yep.
It still has value. And
Yeah.
our lives are the same way.
Absolutely. When somebody wants to try something new and they're nervous about trying something new, do you tell them usually to, sit down, plan it out, or is it just a go?
Ooh, it could be both.
Yeah.
Really, it kind of depends on their personality. If they're more like a go with the flow personality, I'm like, just go for it.
Right.
Like, just do it.
Yeah, and there'll be a way to make.
Yes, like, they'll figure it out, right? Like,
Right.
it's a sink or swim. Like, you'll figure it out. But if it's a person that they don't always feel safe in their decisions and choices that they're making,
Yeah.
then I would say let's kind of plan it out a little bit. Like, let's give you a story to tell yourself. Let's give yourself some actions to do that will help you to feel more comfortable in doing that.
Okay. So when you go day by day, how do you plan out your days? Do you do it like a week in advance, or is it something that's just kind of, okay, so this intuitively, I feel like this is what I should be doing today?
Yeah, I do both.
Okay.
Because I'm a person who needs structure.
Yep.
but I'm also a person that needs like freedom. I'm like,
Yes.
I gotta fly, I gotta do something.
I feel
like,
that.
you know? And so if I go hardcore structure, my whole life is like,
I don't want to do it.
oh, yes, like I want to go to my bed and I'm just done.
Yep.
And so learning like what style fits for you is really going to be the best bet. But yeah, for me, what I like to do is I do block scheduling. And so I block out the times I'm going to be working and then I leave freedom for me.
Yeah.
So I always leave like an hour or two to just have a moment.
And just do.
Yeah. So like, for example, on Saturday, I scheduled some things and then I was going to have the afternoon free. And I ended up getting the most incredible call to go and do service for a tea party for a mom. It was her bucket list item.
Cute.
So cute. She is dying of cancer and she wanted to help her 4-year-old have this amazing last memory with her. And if I would have just like kept my day completely full, I wouldn't have been able to make that opportunity happen to go down there and help be a part of this. And so when you have moments that are not completely filled in your day, it leaves room for inspiration. It leaves room for that quiet impression of go serve this person, give this person a call.
Yeah.
Because again, it's not all about me and all the little things. It's like I truly, genuinely want to leave room for inspiration. And sometimes it's for my family, sometimes it's for other people, sometimes it's for me. But yeah, if you have that wiggle room, I feel like your day just goes so much better. And so I will plan at the beginning of the week. Usually Saturdays or Sundays, I'll sit down, look at my week ahead. Okay, where do I have time to fit these moments in?
Yeah.
Where do I need to let go of things in my life? And it will just be an evaluative process. And then if I have a busy month, then the next month I'm like, okay, I'm definitely adding in more free time. And I'll do that. So it's a weekly and a monthly process that I do.
So I want to talk about your intuition on that side of things a little bit. When was it that you discovered that you were intuitive, and was it a gift that you had to kind of like look at and practice?
Yeah, I think for me, I didn't know what intuition was growing up. I don't think my family ever really explained it. It was more like the spirit talking to you, right?
Right.
And so I was kind of confused the difference between, okay, well, is it the spirit? Is it my intuition? Like, what
is
the
it?
heck is this? And so I grew up with having that, like, you follow impressions and you do that.
Yeah.
But I never really, like I said, like knew the difference between the two. And it was actually when I was in a class and I was sitting there and my teacher, she was like, Talesha, you're intuitive. I was like, I am?
What?
No, I'm not.
Right?
I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But there was just a very distinct difference, and now I've learned to recognize a difference of like, okay, this is a spirit speaking to you, and this is your higher self speaking to you. And so it was something I had to develop and lean into and practice. Just like if you're going to the gym, like you can't just go into a gym and do 50 pull-ups and like be awesome the first day, right? You have to go and you have to practice that gift. And I truly believe that we can develop any gift or talent that we want to have. You just have to practice that and have a strong enough desire to develop it in your life.
So what are some of the steps that you took to practice that?
Lots of meditation. And I say that and people like cringe inside.
Dude, I love meditating.
Yes.
It is. I love it so much.
It is life-changing.
It is.
And for me, like I said, I always had chatter in my head, right?
I do too. Yeah.
Positive, negative, all of that. But meditation really helped me like lean into that. And sometimes people think, oh, you just have to like sit there and quiet. I'm like, no, I do guided meditations. I have music. Like, again, I don't buy into the belief that meditation has to look like how the experts are talking about it.
No.
You meditate the way that serves your soul, your being. So for me, it was a lot of meditation and understanding the thoughts that I was having and then acting upon the thoughts that I would have. So if it was, hey, go help this person. I would go and do it. Even if I was so uncomfortable in my skin, I'm like, I don't know why I'm doing this.
Right. Hey, sorry. I'm just over here picking your weeds.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes. But like practicing and following through on what impressions I received, and then also journaling. Journaling was a big thing for me because I would wake up. This was when I was really starting that gift. I would wake up and write, what am I supposed to do today? And not as supposed to do as in like the shoulds and the expectations, but the downloads of what am I supposed to do today to help other people. And then I would just write what came to mind. And then again, I could see that, so I could believe it. This is really what I was supposed to be doing. And then, you know, you get confirmation from people of, oh my gosh, I really needed that today. Thank you. And then when you receive that, it boosts you up and you continue to grow in it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to somebody who wanted to go try something new, but they were just super uncertain about it?
Oh, yes. I totally get it. The uncertainty is there. And it really comes down to asking yourself, do you want to live this way? Is that fulfilling you? Are you happy in that way? Or could you be happier and help more people and love deeper in this aspect? So it really just comes down to a question of, what do you want more in your life, and what are you willing to sacrifice for that? Yeah. And sacrifice in a good way or a bad way, right? Yeah. Sacrificing your time and your gifts and your talents, your family, the income that you could make, like, is that worth it to stay comfortable?
Yeah.
Or do you want to sacrifice that fear, sacrifice the unknown, and just go for it?
Yeah.
Like, that's how I see it. Like, you got two options. You're either in or you're out.
Yep.
Can you live with the out, or can you live with the in?
Yep.
And go for what one your soul needs to have.
And would you constantly be wondering what it would be like if you had gone the other way? Because I feel like if that's the case, you got to be going that other direction.
Absolutely. And people are like, well, what if I fail?
Who cares?
What if you do?
At least you knew. But what if you don't? What if you find a brand new life that is way more fulfilling than you could have ever expected?
Absolutely. And failure is only a state of mind.
Yeah.
Like, you decide if you fail.
Exactly.
Right?
Who's deciding? You're not going to let the world decide, because the world's not in charge. Remember, the world's in that far outer circle. They're not involved. They don't get involved in this.
Right. Yep. No say whatsoever.
So what would you... I want to get into this love thing. You said love, and I was like, go.
Oh, yeah, there.
And here we go. So tell me a little bit about the advice you would give to people who feel like they are maybe falling out of love with like a significant other.
Wow, that is a question.
I know. I don't really know where it came from, but here we are.
Okay, so
it's not me, okay? Before we go anywhere else and anybody's like, McCall. No, I just feel like this is a question that needs to be asked, and so I'm asking.
Absolutely, and I think we're seeing that right now, right? Like, I think because of the way the world is transitioning and the fears and the pains that we're having.
Absolutely.
I think we are seeing people who are falling out of love or questioning the love that they have. And so I would say, if that is you, if you are in that position where you feel like you may be falling out of love, maybe with a significant other, maybe with a career that you thought you would always have.
Yeah.
If you feel like you're falling out of that, evaluate it.
Absolutely.
Understand why, you know, and sometimes it's situations, sometimes it's just the feelings that you have, sometimes it's the choices that other people are making, and if you're feeling that, it's there for a reason. But sometimes when we act on our feelings aren't always true.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes those feelings come from that little tiny subconscious part of us that's like, no, we must stay safe, we must stay comfortable.
Yeah.
And so evaluating where that's coming from is really going to help you to know what you need to do in that situation.
Absolutely. Would you recommend journaling, or would you recommend just sitting and meditating in that?
Really, I think if you're a meditator, go and meditate. If you're new to meditation, journal.
Yeah.
Journal it out and then seek help. Seek someone from that inner authority that you can talk to. Therapist, friend, coach, emotional healer. You know, any form of that, reach out to someone who you can be vulnerable and open up to, that you can trust will guide you appropriately.
Absolutely. You can't take it to, I mean, maybe you could take it to like your mom or somebody, but don't take it to somebody that's biased.
Absolutely. Yes.
So I think that's great advice. Okay, is there anything else that you feel like we need to add to podcast today?
This has been amazing.
This has been so good. I have literally been living for this. So thank you for letting me come into your space. This is beautiful. Where can people find you social media-wise?
Yeah, I'm on all social media platforms under Talesha Kim.
Okay.
Yes, so Facebook, Instagram. I'm even on LinkedIn. Yes,
lovely.
I'm even on LinkedIn.
Good.
So
I love that.
all the places.
And then if people want to set up like a consult or a coaching session with you, how do they reach out to you?
They can do that on my website, or you can personally reach out to me. So my website is taleshakim.com.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Well, Talesha, thank you so much for your time. This has been beautiful.
Do I want to spend all these hours and put them into something that I don't enjoy or something that I do enjoy? The truth is that you have an opportunity to do something that you truly love to do.